Hello, my name is Rachel, and I'm a second year in calarts' character animation program. And I'm making this video to walk through the start of your application to calarts' character animation program, because what I've noticed is that a lot of people don't have a lot of trouble finding the information that they need. And if you're applying and you don't know what information you need to find, the calarts websites are definitely not helping you because they are a maze of information and hyperlinks. So hopefully this will clarify some things about the program itself, if you're interested in that, and also exactly what you need to do to start applying. So yeah, I wrote this little document up, which I'm going to just reference back to as I Google my way through this stuff, with basically the summary. So let's get started. This video is for calarts' character animation program. Typically, when you hear about calarts animation online, you're likely the person who's talking is likely referring to character animation. This is the program that everyone memes on. This is the Beanface program. This is the Penn Ward, Alex Hirsch program. This is not the Rebecca Sugar program because she went to SVA. But yeah, calarts character animation is probably I don't want to say it's its best known program, but it's its biggest program actually. So I'll just get into my notes. It's a BFA program, which means it's a 4-year bachelor's degree, and the typical amount of people that they accept per year is actually based on the previous year's graduating class. So it can be anywhere from 30 to even 60 or 70, although the graduating classes are always much smaller as people drop out, get work, do whatever, transfer out as they leave, or throughout the years. Also, I should probably add, you can't transfer into the program, and they don't allow deferrals. So basically what this means is that even if you have partially completed a degree or a diploma program at another school, or even if you have a degree or diploma from another school, you can't go straight into the second year or third year. You have to start as a freshman. And what I mean by they don't allow deferrals is that this is actually something that's very specific to this program. calarts does not allow you to defer if you get accepted, which means that if you get accepted, you either lose your accepted status, or you either go the year that you get accepted, or you lose your accepted status, which is very scummy. I don't know why they do it, and especially with the current situation, it's been something that's very terrible for people, because basically it means that there are people in the program right now who have had to apply multiple times because the first time that they applied, they didn't have the means or the opportunity to go into the program. And obviously, this is a very expensive program, so keep that in mind. Tuition, everything at calarts, $52K a year, not counting housing, food, whatever, and rising. So but anyways, basically, character animation, unlike its sister program, experimental animation, is directed towards the North American animation industry. So it's in it, basically you're going to be learning stuff to integrate into the current animation industry. The people who teach, the faculty are all industry professionals or people who have worked in the industry. So you're looking at people graduating from this program and becoming storyboard artists and visual development artists and directors and whatever. But again, industry focused. And within calarts, the character animation, I need to emphasize this, is part of the school of film video, not the school of art, because animation, even though you might think animation, drawing, art, animation is filmmaking, and this is a filmmaking program. And again, and last point, this is well, I mean, I'm going to get into the more detailed structure of the program, but something that is also pretty particular about this program is that there is no foundational year, which is to say that a lot of programs or other programs at other schools will have years where, or will have structures where the first year is kind of like an introductory year where you learn basic, where they try and like get your skills up to snuff in terms of drawing, painting, life drawing, perspective, whatever. CalArts doesn't really do that. They do that in like a kind of roundabout way, but there is no formal skill development year. So, the structure of CalArts, or the character animation program, is that basically you make a film every year, which is also pretty unique. Not a lot of other schools do this. I know like SVA does it based on who you have, but also don't ask me because I don't know enough about other schools to say. But basically you make a film every year. It's pretty much part of the curriculum. I mean, it is part of the curriculum, which is cool because basically you experience the entire independent filmmaking process as a student using student resources from start to finish and get to explore all parts of the pipeline on your own and on your own terms, which is really cool. You get to explore, like, sorry that it sounds like I'm kind of selling the program, but just speaking from like personal experience, you get to explore your own creative process and learn things in a very hands-on way. So anyways, to go into it in a little bit more detail, CalArts' program, at least in the first year, is structured like this. So you have mandatory courses, which are design, which is learning like principles of like design, in an animation sense, not like fashion design or whatever. And then you have digital methods where you learn like programs like After Effects, TV Paint, mainly After Effects, but like just the technical aspect of the program. You have life drawing, which obviously means like it's like a 7-hour course. Well, typically not right now because we're doing stuff online, but it's a long course where you just life draw and you learn a little bit of like you also like learn a bit of design and like anatomy as well, because all of the courses are pretty pretty connected to each other, since the structure is more filmmaking oriented than strictly animation pipeline oriented. Then you have character animation, which obviously it's like an animation course where you learn to animate. Perspective, which is like perspective, like linear perspective, and drawing in perspective. Story is like learning about story structure, about storyboarding. CG, obviously CG. It's like learning Maya. And before I get to this, I should also mention that CalArts, I keep on saying CalArts, it's character animation. Character animation is a story-oriented program, so that means that, like, because it's obviously, again, it's a filmmaking program, so you make a film every year, it kind of focuses on storytelling as, like, a very big aspect of everything that you make at the school, which includes all of these courses. So this is something to keep in mind in a portfolio sense, but also just in the sense of, like, is this something that you want to be doing for 4 years, learning to become a storyteller through the medium of animation? Because that is something that character animation puts a very heavy focus on. But anyways, my last little mandatory course for the first year at CalArts is called Introduction to Critical Studies, or 16 transfer credits that are equivalent. So basically, Critical Studies is CalArts' Gen Ed equivalent. It's basically the courses that ensure that you have a quote-unquote well-rounded education, and that you're not just focusing on stuff that is like within your own program, because CalArts likes to put an emphasis on interdisciplinary stuff. So it's not just about Gen Ed in the most traditional sense, but it's also about looking at your art in the context of like the world, and also looking at how practices from other disciplines can also apply to your own practice, because CalArts has other programs like dance, theater, like film, visual arts, fine arts, and like a lot of other stuff. So Intro to Critical Studies is actually a course that you take with people from other programs that allows you to get a mixer or a mix of kind of people. But if you have 16 transfer credits, which includes AP scores above 3, IB exam results, and any other transfer credits that you might have if you went to community college or another institution, you get to skip this. So basically, how CalArts works is that even if you do, basically you have to finish one of these two to graduate, but also to take any other critical studies course. So this is the prerequisite for everything. But even if you have those, you have to take at least 8 credits in these categories, which I won't elaborate too much on. But it basically means that like there are a few courses that you still have to take to fulfill these requirements. But yeah, just something good to keep in mind. So obviously if you're in high school and you're thinking about taking AP exams, like you may as well take them because an AP score is worth 4 credits at CalArts, which can go a long way. So CalArts does transfer community college credits, although not all of them, and they do credits from other institutions. So that's my basic structure of CalArts. Now let's go, mandatory course load gets lighter as the year level increases, so I won't like go into the other years because I think that would be just redundant. But basically, my point here is that your first year is the most kind of requisite heavy course load, and then as you get higher in the year level, you start to focus more on making films or getting your portfolio out there, like getting together a portfolio to find work, or even doing work if you have a job. So let's get into the actual thing. So right now I'm going to Google CalArts character animation because that's the program that I'm hypothetically applying to. So it brings me to this page. So again, School of Film Video, not School of Art. So right now, this is my important link. I'm going to click on Apply. And so this brings me to the general CalArts application page. This does not bring me to the specific character animation or even film video application requirements. This is just CalArts' first general application requirements. So, obviously you want to look at the deadlines and the fees, which I have written down here, but this page will show you that as well. So you're looking at fall 2021 because CalArts or character animation starts in fall, and this is rigid. And you're looking at the regular deadline because basically the preferred deadline may seem like it's an early decision deadline, but CalArts releases all their decisions on the same day. The preferred deadline, which is a month earlier, only ensures that you pay a lower fee. And if the fee is something that is an issue for it, issue for you, I'm pretty sure you can get that waived if you talk to the admissions office about that. So yeah, the price is pretty much unchanging. If you're international, it's $85. If you're domestic, it's $70. Way too high and probably shouldn't exist, or like definitely shouldn't exist either way. But yes. So now that you've got your deadline out of the way, now we're going into the actual requirements. So first, I know this is kind of out of order, but we're going to look at transcripts and letters of recommendation. So obviously, you're applying to college, you need to submit your either high school or like secondary school transcripts, or your transcripts from your degree or diploma, which if you've completed one. So transcripts. So basically, this is pretty straightforward. It works basically like any school. They don't allow you to mail things this year, although this may change obviously as the pandemic continues. But basically, again, you're looking at BFA applicants for transcripts. You either need to have graduated from an accredited, which is equivalent to the US academic system, secondary school, or again, approved equivalent. So basically, you need to have, some kind of secondary school, secondary diploma. And CalArts does not require your SATs, which is great. And yeah. So again, if you're international, you have to send your stuff in official English translation. But basically, you can find all this information on this page. I won't go too much into detail, but anything you need to know on the transcript information will be on this link, which is part of the overall application page. So anyways, moving on, let's get to letters of recommendation. So letters of recommendation are something that I think people stress about a lot more than you need to. It's basically a letter from someone like a teacher, a mentor, or a coach, or anyone really who can basically vouch for your proficiency at the program you're applying into. So obviously character animation. You need 2 for the BFA program. And you need to get these in earlier rather than later, and make sure you're communicating with whoever's doing these for you, because if you procrastinate on it, you will end up in a sticky situation. This happened to me. So obviously I can't show the actual portal through which you submit it, but they have a PDF form linked here. But once you start your actual application, you can also submit it online, so you don't need to print this form out and scan it and send it in. You can just have whoever's doing it for you email it in or send it through their application portal. So yeah, that should be pretty straightforward. I mean, for letters of recommendation, really don't stress about who they're from or even what's in them. The 2 that I submitted were one of them was from my art teacher in high school, and the other one was from my swim coach. And for both of them, I basically fed them lines because they were both busy and couldn't take the time to really write something individual and unique. So really don't stress about it. It's not something where, they need to be achingly familiar with everything that you've been through from the moment you picked up a pencil to now. Just, kind of make sure that they at least know that, you're applying to this program and what you need from them, if that's relevant, But anyways, transcripts, letters of recommendation should be pretty straightforward. And now let's get to the portfolio requirements. So again, we're going into this School of Film Video link, because School of Film Video, character animation, and you'll see with character animation, which again is BFA only, it's only a bachelor's program. So here they have a little checklist for you. Kind of doesn't make sense, but it's fine. So we just went over this, the CalArts application materials. So that's your transcripts, any information, that you need to submit, and your letters of recommendation. Then they include your artist statement, which I'll get into, your online portfolio, which includes these 3 things, and your sketchbook, which I will also get into later. So a lot of people also stress over the artist statement, which is submitted along with your portfolio through the same platform. Don't stress about it. It's right here they have the prompts for it, which are what inspires you to make your art, why are you applying to the character animation program at CalArts, and what are your artistic goals. So basically these have not changed for many years now, or at least a few years since I've applied. But these are pretty straightforward questions. For this first question, if you have someone you look up to, a creator, or this is like kind of an easy, or not, it's a straightforward question. Just answer it. Don't really like stress about, you know, trying to be deep or whatever. Like, yes. But for this second question specifically, I think my interpretation of this is, what can CalArts do for you? What can you get out of the character animation program? Because again, oh, what the fuck did I do? Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a new mouse recently. It's like weird. It's like ergonomic. It has buttons on it. But anyways, it's like CalArts is an institution of education. So you are going there to get an education. And so basically, it's an institution that has something to offer you, not the vice versa. What you have to offer CalArts is your money, and that's what they want from you. So, you know, it's like, don't take this question as trying to convince CalArts to accept you, because they will decide that from your portfolio and your sketchbook. Really, this is like these two questions are kind of connected, even though this third question, what are your artistic goals, can be interpreted on a larger scale. So if you ever have goals to like direct your own film or direct your own like series or whatever, or, you know, become a visual development artist or whatever, this is where you would put that. But this is specifically where you talk about what you aim to get out of the character animation program, which hopefully, you know, my summing up of it helps you with that. But again, artist statement, it's really, take it at face value. It shouldn't be something that you stress over. It can be like literally a page. Mine was like a page and like a quarter. You know, just make sure that you're being honest. Don't be fake about yourself. You know, this is not the place to try and prove yourself to convince them to let you in, because again, that's the portfolio. That's what the portfolio is for. Don't kiss ass, obviously, because CalArts' ass is not worth kissing. But yours is, and CalArts ought to be doing that for you. And just, again, like, you know, it's an artist statement. Like with all artist statements, you're talking about yourself and your art. Be honest with what you want to do, with who you think you are, and you'll be good. So anyways, without further ado, that brings us to the actual portfolio, the quote-unquote online portfolio. So this is kind of confusing because they like organize it in like multiple different ways. But basically the portfolio, at least like the portfolio includes 3 different sections, which are your portfolio, your video introduction, and your sketchbook. So your video introduction, pretty simple. Where is it? Yeah. So it's very simple. Answer this question. Tell them about one person, place, thing, or event that helped shape your artistic practice, and do it within 30 to 90 seconds. Again, like with the artist statement, don't overcomplicate it. It's a very simple thing. Yes, there are issues with this in terms of like possible introduction of bias, you know, specifically racial and gender bias. But that's not an issue that I'm dealing with in this video. But it's, other than that, it's like a pretty straightforward thing. Like, you literally just film yourself, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Rachel. One person, place, thing, or event that helped shape my artistic practice is when people laughed at me for posting on Facebook when I was 14. You know, like, just really, like, this is as basic as it gets. Again, don't stress, just be honest, don't make some shit up. Don't say, like, you know, when I earned my first Nobel Prize, I just realized that astrophysics wasn't my thing. Like, don't be, you have no reason to try and judge yourself up. Be honest about who you are and what inspires you, and you'll be good. But anyways, this leads me to the second, or like the last 2 parts of the portfolio, which, oh, Jesus Christ. Portfolio and the sketchbook. So first of all, the portfolio is really where you are showing them your skills as an artist, your technical skills, your ability to create animation-oriented artwork, whether that be, storyboards, concept art, background drawings, layout, paintings, whatever. And you're also showing them your observational drawing skills, which CalArts does put a lot of focus on. But again, I won't go into too much elaboration on that because this is just going over the actual, what you need to know to apply. So obviously here there are 2 sections to the observational artwork, which is a minimum of 15 pieces total. So you need to have at least 15 from either of these categories, from both of these categories combined. Observational life drawings of human models. So again, just read this. It's pretty clear to me. Don't skimp on the faces, hands, and feet. Drawings of nude models are preferred, but costume drawings may be also included. No, I think because of obviously current circumstances, it's 2020 right now when I'm making this video, it's very hard to get a live model experience, and often when models go online to do sessions, they may not go nude. So I'm sure that whoever's, administering or whoever's doing the proctoring, or whoever's reviewing portfolios for application this year will definitely understand if you don't have, strictly nude models, because obviously it's hard, if not impossible, to get a live nude model. That being said, there are lots of life drawing models who are doing online sessions through Zoom and other platforms. If you don't want to use the boring old tired websites like Croquis Cafe, Line of Action, whatever, obviously you can support these models by paying a small fee for those sessions, and from those you can get unique poses, costumes. I would probably suggest doing that because that's literally how we approach observational life drawing in class. So yeah, just give a variety, show that you know how to observe the human body. Yes. But then, okay, part B, observational drawings from real life, which obviously this basically means any observational drawing that isn't a strict life drawing. Again, very clear. Again, also, in current situations, it's hard to get outdoor or interiors that are not inside your home, but even within your own home, there are possibly many ways to get interesting observational drawings of an interior. If you have a bedroom, draw it at different angles, draw it using different perspective approaches, just observational drawings. It's yes, very cool. But anyways, the second part of the portfolio is your creative work. So this is pretty clear. I think people often ask, oh, what should I include in it? Do they like digital art? Do they like whatever? It says here. They like digital stuff. They like non-digital stuff. They like cool stuff, like plastic arts or installations, whatever. But I think you need to keep in mind that character animation is a story-focused program. It's a storytelling-focused program. You make films every year, and you basically go through all parts of the animation pipeline every year. So your work, maybe consider making it, giving it a focus on storytelling instead of just, doing fine art illustrations or whatever. Because if that's the kind of work that you're inclined to make, then you maybe the program, maybe you need to reconsider, what program you're applying to, or what kind of work you're making. I don't know if that made sense. But anyways, yes. Also, online presence. Something that's really dumb that a lot of people also ask a lot. I mean, like, I can't really blame people because, like, CalArts is, like, a well-known program, but a lot of people always ask, like, oh, well, I bet they just like people who have a big Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram following, and I bet they only, like, accept people who are famous online, which is, like, very much not true. Like, there are people who get accepted who, like, don't have social media. This is just to provide some more reference as to how you can self-curate, as to what kind of work you're producing online. It's just like an extra portfolio piece. Like, don't take it at face value. Like, don't read too much into it. They really don't care how many followers you have, and I'm just gonna say right now, like, if you're thinking like that, stop thinking like that. It's bullshit. Just do your art, and if they like your art, if they want your art to be part of your program, then it will be part of the program. So, let's see. Jesus Christ, that was a lot of talking. But anyways, so basically, from essentially what are 3 pages of information, this is about everything you need to know to start applying. Obviously, if you're international, if you have, like, extraneous circumstances that apply to you, there are links here, everywhere, here, there, everywhere, that you can click on, but they should all be accessible through this page. So the international application page is accessible through this link here. And I guess I'll include these links in the video description. Other than that, I think this pretty much sums up, like, the application process the application requirements for character animation. Character animation program missions. So yeah. Let's see. If I click apply. Okay. Get started. Oh, okay, this is for international students. Oh, right, visas and I-20, I won't talk about that. If you're international, you need CalArts to give you an I-20, like, upon your admission. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. But that's not really, like, relevant right now. Start your application today. So this is the link, start your application today, that you need to click on to start applying. I don't know why it's, like, before everything that they tell you that you need to have, but it's here. And so CalArts has their own little platform portal. Wait, okay. Don't hack me, but let's see. Also, don't email this email. That's my personal email. Let's see if I can, like, access. Okay, well, whatever. But yeah, click on this link to start your application today, and then they will probably instruct you to create, or to, like, pay them, and then you'll be able to fill all the information out. But I won't drag this on for longer than it has to be. Hopefully this helps. I guess I can also put this, like, little file into the description as well. But, like, hopefully this helps in deciphering and answering questions that CalArts has. Oh wait, no. I didn't talk about the sketchbook. I knew I missed something. Okay, the sketchbook. let's go back. So, right, this is a good chance to recap, actually, before I get to my last point, which is sketchbook. So, right, we're going character animation, apply, application process, School of Film Video, character animation. Yes, so now, the sketchbook. A complete sketchbook. Okay, so it does say complete. I guess some people do also stress about, like, not being able to finish, but, you know, like, paper is easily ripped. You can rip pages out, you can glue them together. Complete is very subjective. But, like, they pretty much give you suggestions for what to put in a sketchbook here. Like, observations, very important. Obviously, like, your drawings, you have to draw. Very important. But your sketchbook, like YouTube, like, has given this misconception that the sketchbook is the most important part of the portfolio. It's just another part of the portfolio. It's like, it's just this kind of thing so that they can see your thought process, see your observations. I get, like, there are a lot of people who ask, like, do they want to see it all cleaned up? No. Like, do you clean up your normal portfolio or your normal sketchbook to the point where, like, you know, like, it could pretty much be a portfolio piece? Like, if you do that, well, whatever, but, like, if it's a sketchbook, don't treat it any differently from how you might a normal sketchbook. You know, use this as an opportunity to explore different mediums, different ideas, different, you know, techniques, different approaches, but ultimately it's your sketchbook. Use it to follow your thought process and your artistic process. Like it says, we want to see what you are uniquely inspired to draw. Be yourself. Like, that's something that's very easy to say, but truly it's like, be who you are. Don't try and be, you know, someone who gets 100,000 views on YouTube doing a flip through of their sketchbook. Like, we recommend you do not use online sketchbooks for reference. You know, I know a lot of people have their sketchbooks up online, and it can be very tempting to look at them and cry about how good they are. I did that a lot. But really, it's like, it will become such, like, a much more liberating process as well once you let go of the idea that your sketchbook needs to look a certain way just because of what, like, the narrow subset of sketchbooks that you see online. Because again, like, what you see online is very narrow. CalArts accepts people, like, with a complete diversity of styles, of techniques, of approaches. So again, be yourself. That's the best thing you can be. This applies to all aspects of this portfolio or this application, including the letter of the artist statement, the video, your portfolio. Please draw directly in a sketchbook. Well, how will they tell? You know, like, if you make your own sketchbook, what's the difference between that and just assembling pages together? They say this, I mean, this is kind of like a loose rule, you know, don't just put everything that's in your sketchbook in your portfolio, but, you know, I'm pretty sure they skim through those things anyways. So, like, if you have something that you're really proud of that you maybe want to, like, clean up, like, for my sketchbook and my portfolio, I drew a bunch of animals in them at the zoo, and I compiled those sketchbook drawings together to make a portfolio piece, and I got away scot-free. But, you know, use your own discretion for this. Sketchbooks come in many different shapes and sizes. This means length. See, recently there have been a lot of people asking the question, like, how long does it have to be? Like, is there a minimum page length? Does it say that there's a minimum page length? Does it say that you have to have at least 50 pages with full watercolor, full gouache, full pencil crayon illustrations? No, it doesn't. Like, I have classmates who got in with 20-page sketchbooks. I myself, my sketchbook was 68 spreads, so 136 pages. Like, I know people who got in with multiple sketchbooks that were, like, many, many pages long. Whatever works for you, quality over quantity, and this means any quantity. Like, don't overthink your sketchbook, because again, it's a sketchbook. It's for sketches. Don't, you know, kill yourself trying to fill in a book that is way beyond your limits in terms of volume. Just be natural and yourself. And so obviously they elaborate a little bit more on this because right now we're in the times of COVID. Traditionally, you would mail your sketchbook in. This year, they're not having you do that. They're just having you film through it. So, yes, they should be very clear. Like, you don't need to mail it, which is nice because now you don't have to take into consideration like shipping times for the deadline, which is January 4th, 2021. And yeah, so now that should actually be it. But anyways, hopefully this video is not too long and too drab, and hopefully I actually went through everything that needs to be covered. But if you have any questions, I'll also leave my email and stuff below, and you can ask questions, and I'll try and answer and help. But otherwise, if you're applying, good luck. You know, it's very, like, I've said this, but, like, if you're applying, it's already a great, like, feat of effort. You know, like, the application process is grueling. You have to produce so much content for it. It's exhausting. You know, basically, you're going to be consistently producing creative content for many months in a row. And that in itself is already, like, a big step in terms of your personal artistic growth. This is just an application process for one program. I mean, I have another video where I go through my portfolio and I say this, but, like, don't make a CalArts portfolio. Just make a good portfolio that you are sending to CalArts. I don't know, maybe it's like kind of self-important if I say that, like it's like a line. Like everything that I've kind of talked about in terms of the portfolio is like, don't stress, like try not to stress about stuff that doesn't matter. If you're gonna stress about, you know, the quality of your work, stress about, like, I don't know, stress about politics or whatever. I mean, don't stress, I mean, you know what, whatever, just remember, like, this is something that's very hard, especially now, and you're already doing a lot by putting yourself through it, so hopefully this helps make the process smoother. But anyways, yes, good luck. I'll drop all the links that you need below, and I'm sorry that you have to pay $70 or $85 to do this. But yes, I'll end the video now. Thank you. Goodbye.